Welcome to Rage Against the Regime Radio, where status quo gets taken to task. With your host, Bobby Who's Demand. Don't be a stranger. Give us a call at 929-477-3565 or contact us at rageagainsttheregimepodcast@gmail.com or on our Twitter at RATR Podcast. And please like our Facebook page. On with the show. Here's Bobby.
A voice with hopes that you're listening. Voice of America, I'm speaking from the citizens. Tired of the lies, all the false narratives. For us to survive, we must stand up as Americans. Need to alter the course that's been written. It's history, not his story. They mix it in with fiction. Behind the scene decisions, you're blind to see the visions. Freedom isn't free, society is prison. Fed up, I won't let up. There's no more room for mess ups. The administration's a bit outrageous. I think it's time we step up. How about I check off the definition of evil? Pay millions to bomb countries, but can't feed our own people. These countries don't even pose threats. Can Congress or progress? Syria, no GMOs left. Rothschilds want their own checks. Pipelines to control next. How many more lives will drones get? It's 7 countries, 5 years destabilized. No sweat. Voice with hopes that you're listening. Voice of America, I'm speaking from the citizens. Political smokescreen, they're giving you nothing. No hope streams, I have children, where are they going? World War III, to grow up in that era is something that we don't want. The thought of that should scare ya. To cause and act, prepare ya. No thought, just facts that flares up. False flag attacks won't spare ya. They bury ya, no care for ya. The credibility's been gone. The peace prize you sit on, you're pissing in a windstorm. Give it back, it's been gone. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under. It's not about homegrown radical terrorists, more like brainwashing, driving fear in Americans. Many are sleeping, unaware of this, believing MSM, they're sheep. Now I'm very pissed. What about us? The dollar is decreasing. We can't afford to live, but this problem is a bee sting. The power of the people is no secret. Look at Egypt. What do we get? No respect, because our free debt has interest. The preset is business, so banks never lose when they risk it. Just create more and lend it. So we take more, cause we spend it. Let's brainstorm for a second. Why do we support this? We're too nice, we forgive. Let's take back this fortress and secure it before it crumbles down to nothing. Stand tall, take the ball, don't fumble now, keep running. Not elected, they're selected. The presidents since breastfed. And if they go against the agenda, well, you know they get dead. Look at the bigger picture. They make moves to get richer and sit back and laugh at events like Benghazi. Don't talk about conspiracies, shadow governments and Nazis. They catch wind, their heads spin. Now you're in the hot seat. These colors don't run, my flag flies high. Second Amendment says my gun is mine till I die. First Amendment says my lungs let me breathe for my speech. Speak truth, no sweet tooth, sugar coatings for the weak. Impeachment for treason, no reason, because we can. What you're seeing, the agreement, no more bleeding. Defeating these demons, keep shining, believing. We're weakened, but we're still here. Your neighbors, don't leave them. Your rights, need to read them. We're human and we need to love each other. All around the earth, I walk on dirt. Treat me like your brother. I love you, please love me. We all should love our freedom. But answer this one question, can you tell me what we're free from?
Yes, yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Rage Against the Regime podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Who's the Man, and that was PTP. We had Vinny Straub on last week, who is PTP, Power Through People. The whole CD is just, my God, one of the best CDs I've ever heard in my life. Now, that's coming from a guy that likes hip-hop, okay? But his music, you got to listen to the lyrics, okay? You can't do that, you know how rap and hip-hop have this bad, they already have a bad name for themselves before the music's even played, you know, just because of a lot of things that they're associated with. Not this. I promise you, and I will be playing a lot more of their music, or his music, because he's a solo artist, from time to come. I will be playing his music. His website. Last week when we had him on the show, his website was down for some reason and they couldn't figure it out, but now it's back up and running. So let me direct you there. PTP, Paul Thomas Paul, is here. PTPishere.com. Please go over there, give it a little look. Check out what he's got going on. He's got videos. He's got his music. He's got a blog on there. He's got some healthy advice, you know, when it comes to eating and, you know, trying to make yourself greener and cleaner and, you know, all that. But big shout out to my boy Vinny Straub. I appreciate him coming on our show the other night, on Friday night, and you know, I'm sure he had something better to do on a Friday night than to join us, but he joined us for 2 hours, and what a great show. Nothing but great feedback from it, and I'm glad to, you know, have had him on the show with us. Monday, big show coming Monday. Okay? Tom Luju from Bunker Report is going to be joining us again. Now, we always have a lot to talk to Tom about, because when Tom comes, you know, it's always something going on and, you know, plenty to cover. This time around, we have a ton to cover, but the main thing that we're going to be covering is a lot of this weather talk for, you know, a lot of these volcanoes and stuff. Japan just went off the other day. You know, look at New York. They're getting bombarded with all that snow. They had a real bad snowstorm. You know, I mean, I know it's natural. It's not so natural for to be having all this craziness going on. I mean, yeah, I know bad weather and snow, and yeah, it's New York, just like Chicago. Even though we haven't had a winter, believe it or not, today here, it's probably about 30 some odd degrees. It's been between 30 and 50 degrees here in Chicago, which is unheard of. For this time of year, that's unheard of. I can't explain it. See, from all the studies that I've done, I think that the Earth is actually rotating and, you know, well, we all know it's rotating, but what I mean by what I'm saying, because a lot of people are going to send me goofy emails, I think that what's going to eventually happen is people are going to get other people's weather. Take, for instance, we may end up getting the weather from a place like Virginia or something where it might be a little bit warmer than it, you know, than the weather that Chicago was getting, and maybe, you know, maybe every state might end up, you know, having different weather and might end up getting, you know, weather from a different state just because of the way that the Earth is rotating. Now, I don't know that to be 100% true, but I mean, in the studies that I've looked at, eventually that's something, you know, that could possibly happen, and, you know, it might be a transition point right now. But the reason why Tom is coming on is most of you probably heard about the asteroid that went buzzing past, you know, Earth yesterday, and I guess it was, I don't know, 780,000 miles or something like that. Okay? Now, there's reports coming out that in September 24th, I think they said, 2015, they're expecting an asteroid to hit Earth. And they're saying that it's probably going to land in the ocean right by Brazil. It could knock out Puerto Rico, all this other stuff. They say that it's not going to be so bad where it can knock off the history of the world and all that. But, it could create havoc and, chaos and, flooding, so on and so forth. Now, I watched a few reports yesterday from some scientists that say that we get hit by asteroids and meteors all the time, but it just depends upon the size of them. That would be what the outcome's going to be. Now, I have not seen any reports about this one that they're predicting for September 24th, 2015. We'll just say September 2015. I have not seen any other reports besides the ones that I found on YouTube when I was going to Tom's page on YouTube. I go on there all the time just to watch videos and stuff, and I watch Jason A. stuff and sometimes Dabu and Bobby Powell and just, some other people. And I happen to fall upon the one that says that they're expecting a big asteroid and that, it could be a life-changing experience. And Tom's been getting reports from somebody that's high up the food chain that would know about this type stuff. And if Tom says that, I believe it for all it's worth. A lot of you don't know Tom the way that I know Tom. I consider Tom a brother. And if Tom tells me something, I can pretty much take it to the bank and probably go cash a check on it. Now, with that being said, Tom's getting his information from somebody else that he trusts. So I would have to say that if Tom trusts a person, then I would probably have to say I agree, and then I go along with it. But now with all that being said, I have not seen any other reports except for Tom's and a couple other ones that seemed like they were grabbing Tom's information and running with it. Now, on RT, they were reporting that in the year 2027, I think they said it was, they expect us to be getting hit by some asteroid or meteor or something. But that's the only one that NASA has told us about. Now, I want to get to some things and touch on these, and you guys tell me what you think. A lot of NASA scientists have been disappearing. Actually, one just airplane crash, what was it, about a week ago? I think they said that it's a total of 73 that have come up missing or dead or whatever. That to me is a very, very high number. Very high number. Now, was it that they knew something that they were going to try to tell people? Or, is there something else? The government didn't want us to know something, and they were going to let it loose, and, and they said no? Things that like this just doesn't, they just don't happen on accident. I'm interested to find out how much information the government really knows about any of this stuff. Now, I was talking to Shai Townsend last night on the phone, and actually, we're trying to set something up for him to come back on here pretty soon, too. And Shai brought up a good point yesterday. He said, a lot of the stuff that we're seeing about, these asteroids and all this other stuff could have something to do with controlled ops. releasing the information to get us scared and get people to run to the government and ask for help. And, the whole FEMA camp thing, gets implemented again. And then here comes martial law with its ugly face, showing up again, and so on and so forth. And it all makes sense. Now, Shai Townsend believes in angels and, and stuff like that. And, I'm kind of convinced a little bit. I mean, I don't know enough about it, so I don't know, if I would run all the way with it. But he said, he feels that maybe they, might be able to alter where the asteroid is going or the meteor or whatever before it would actually hit us. Now, he also said that he feels that the government would be able to control it, blow it up, get rid of it, like it's happened in a couple movies and stuff like that. And I also agree with that. I would imagine that they have some kind of, orb or some kind of satellite or something out there that could, stop something from, like if we know an asteroid or a meteor is going to be here and it's like months and months away, that they might be able to take a laser and blow it up. And, if you hit it with the laser dead on and split it, it would go in two different directions and wouldn't be coming at us any longer. So that all made sense. We had a long conversation about this yesterday, and, I agree with some of it. I can't say I agree with it all, but that did make sense to me. I mean, if the government knows about it that far in advance, they're probably going to do something about it. I mean, they get affected just like we do. It's not like, we're just going to let that meteor or a meteor or asteroid hit Earth and let it kill all those, people and this and that, and we're not going to do anything about it. Well, they're here also. I mean, they're on this planet also. I mean, I just don't see them allowing something like that to happen if they have a way to take care of it. I mean, yeah, I agree that our government, they have all these underground bunkers and, they've got places that they can run and go hide. That doesn't mean they can run and go hide from something that can cause tsunamis and, to go, where they're the radioactive plants and stuff like that, and blow them up, and then the radiation starts going into the air, and and hit somewhere where a volcano can erupt, and it all would end up to where they would also get hurt. It's not like they would not be non-harmed from it. So, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to know what other people think about it. Now, I don't know if any of you that listen to me when I'm doing a Spreaker show know that we have a chat room. There is a chat room that's opened that you can send me messages whenever I'm on Spreaker. Now, Becky's going to start doing more shows on Spreaker also. She did one last week, and she sounded amazing because the quality was just 100 times better than any Blog Talk show could ever sound like. So we would like to get you all involved, and, whatever we're talking about, come on and, join us and hit up the chat and, start a conversation there. So, but I'd like to know what other people think about it. I mean, I've got my thoughts about it and, the way that I feel about it, but I want to know what other people think about it. It's actually a very, very interesting conversation to have with people when it comes to, natural disaster and, stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, some of the scientists that I was watching some of their videos and reading some of their blogs and stuff like that. A lot of stuff that they say, it makes a lot of sense, but they're also going to tell you stuff that's BC. So, all right, I'm going to play another song by PTP. This one is called Judgment Day. And it is also a very, very, very good song. So, here, I'm going to play it for you, and then we'll be back.
We interrupt all radio and television programs for an indefinite period. Please keep your radio and television sets turned on. This is an emergency. I repeat, this is an emergency.
By direction of the President of the United States, in the interests of public safety, hereby proclaimed to be under martial law.
Ooh, DJ Hopper.
I guess it's Judgment Day, don't know what to say, and WO's coming to take my guns away.
Manchurian candidate, make sure your hand grenades inside a closed fist, doors open, cram it straight in the face of the system. Sitting in the corner, feel like Christopher Dorner might skip to the border or get hit with the torture when UN bans take you to FEMA camps. Conspiracies and scams, apparently this land can be seized by sand. I'll fight back for my flag, so bury me in sand. Using devil's breath to brainwash, giving you insane thoughts. Shooting schools and theaters, then make it seem like they stop. Claiming that they save bombs, media's what they watch. All you people turning sheep will stay away from. News stations, the food places, they process you. Processed food is why Dunkin' Donuts is mocking you, blinding you. Americans keep running on it, cause terrorists make us love it and always want it. Rothschilds, Bilderbergs, Congress smiles, filters earth, common sense in politics does not exist, but still we're turned to follow this. Hollowness, don't knock on this guy's door. Look you in the eyes and show you what this fucking nine's for. And I'm the one that's crazy, you better bundle up. I support one flag, no false flags or cover-ups. And what the fuck is up with Benghazi? No phone calls, but someone's gonna end up like Gaddafi. Saddam Hussein, Barack Hussein, Osama Bin Laden, Dadi and Zabi. Know about that, then you're probably shot in the top piece. Getting rid of SEAL Team 6 is becoming a hobby. These aren't theories here, clear your ears, I'm stating facts. Big brother's watching through Google, so they play it back. There's no erasing that, make sure your face is masked. Cut off internet and phones, you'll be saying that. Should've listened when PTP took the stage and rapped. Now's your chance to stand up and protect your rights. Guard yours like they guard Bohemian Grove, put up defense and fight. Except no less cause my Second Amendment signed since December 15, 1791. Now you can't buy bullets, I'll find me some. Stand behind this gun, I don't bite my tongue, my mind is numb. From this empire of illusion, set fire revolution. I'm tired of confusion, all lies instead of truth in everything that you practice on. Lacking facts, ask AFRICOM. Backpacks packed with bombs, no explosives, I'm talking books full of knowledge. Open one and the bomb hits in your noggin. See, you can either consume what they feed you or seek fruit that's grown by secretive people. Kill your TV, start decreasing this evil. Bring peace to Mother Earth because she needs you. I love you, America.
Curfew is at 1800 hours. Any persons on the street or outside their quarters after 6 p.m. tonight will be subject to arrest by the military police. Stay in your homes, I repeat. Stay in your homes. Your personal safety, the safety of the entire city, depends upon your full cooperation with the military authority.
You're listening to the Rage Against the Regime podcast. Don't be a stranger. Like Rage Against the Regime podcast on Facebook or tweet us at RATR Podcast.
Welcome back to Rage Against the Regime. That was Judgment Day by PTP. As I stated earlier, their website is back up and running. And last week when we had them on the show, Vinny said that, the website was down and that it would be right back up, and he's a man of his word, it's back up. Okay, now I want to get into some other information besides, talking about volcanoes and, and all that type of stuff. What I want to talk about right now, okay, and I think that this is very, very, very important. Russia and Iran just signed a pact with each other. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? There's really nothing wrong with it when you really think about it. I mean, yeah, okay, things happen, whatever. Okay? But this is the thing that I'm trying to figure out. Okay? right now, we are, I'm just trying to think of how I can put this. I'm just going to put it like this. Okay? We have like big problems right now. Okay? The Saudi king pretty much has, left us in a stranglehold with him dying. Okay? Now, ever since he died and passed away, we're in a situation where we don't have anybody to fight against them. Okay? We have nobody, and I mean nobody, to fight against them. To, put a stranglehold and, and try to fight against Al-Qaeda and, and all that stuff. It's us against them. Now, right now, the way that it's looking, it's going to start looking really bad for Israel because it looks like Al-Qaeda and ISIS or ISIL or whatever the hell you want to call them today, they're starting to take over all these countries because the Saudi king is dead and they're going into areas that they didn't go into before. And all the military from those areas are all putting their guns down and, they're putting their